talked quite a bit here on the show about Korean cabbage, often turned into kimchi, but we haven't spent a lot of time talking about that other Chinese cabbage known as bok choy. I see baby bok choy at the store quite a bit too.
I love this stuff, and the crazy thing is that we have a little greenhouse at my place, and we can grow it in the winter time. So we almost always have it on a topo menu during the winter because we can actually grow it. It's easy to grow, it's a fast grow, and I love the sweetness of it, especially when you grill it or char it.
So the baby bok choy, you're just harvesting it earlier, right? Or is it a
That's
separate
right.
start?
It's the same exact thing. You just harvest it when we grow it in window boxes, really, and it's super easy. So I would say to people, if you've got a kind of warm room and a sunny window, you could probably grow it all winter long.
And I just think of it as something we chop up and put into a stir fry. Is that kind of your understanding or no?
I don't like it that way as much because I think that it's got so much depth of flavor that that I like to serve it on its own.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited about today's challenge. It's going to be fun.
So coming up on today's show, a bok choy challenge with the chef and owner of Honey Butter Fried Chicken, as he and I attempt to come up with an easy weeknight meal in 15 minutes or less using just some bok choy plus 5 extra ingredients that you can pretty much find anywhere.
This is the Feed Podcast. I'm Steve Dolensky, a food and travel reporter at ABC 7 News in Chicago and author of Pizza City, USA.
And I'm Rick Bayless, the chef and owner of Chicago's Frontera Grill, Topolobampo, Choco, Leña Brava, Bar Sotano, and host of Public Television's Mexico, One Plate at a Time.
And every week, the Feed takes a deep dive into the world of professional chefs, restaurateurs, food artisans, and drink experts, sharing their stories and uncovering their passion for food and drink. But that's not all. Rick and I are always traveling the globe for our jobs, eating, drinking, and immersing ourselves in the local culture. If we find something exciting along the way, there's a good chance it's going to find its way here to our James Beard Award-winning podcast. Well, 14 years ago, Josh Culp and his friend Christine Zakowski launched Sunday Dinner Club in Chicago. They had just graduated from Kendall College of Culinary Arts here, and the Insider Dining series allowed them to really get creative. 8 years later, they opened Honey Butter Fried Chicken, where everything from the sourcing of the local, humanely slaughtered and cage-free birds to the ingredients they sourced had to be of the utmost quality. Not only can the guy cook, he studied poli-sci and English at the University of Wisconsin. Go Badgers! He's got a master's in teaching from Pace University, and he's ready to do battle with bok choy today. Josh Culp, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's really great to have you here, but that's kind of a circuitous route to the kitchen. So after a master's in teaching, you all of a sudden said, what I really want to do is cook?
Yeah, I really like to eat, so I figured out a way to eat for the rest of my life. I was teaching in New York City in the South Bronx year 2000 to 2003. I really loved it, but my heart was really in the kitchen. I had cooked in college, and the whole time I was in New York, I would race through grading papers so I could go explore the New York food scene and run home, cook my way through, Marcel Hazan's books and Julia Child's books, and realized maybe I should quit teaching and become a line cook. Where I went to school in Madison, so I worked in an Italian restaurant. I did front of the house and a little bit of back of the house. I also, interestingly, worked in a nursing home during college, and one of the cool parts of this nursing home was that the service attendant, which was me, would make breakfast every day for the residents on my floor, and that would involve, basically being a short order cook. And I loved that. I loved the intimacy of having that order come in and serving it right to the folks who were there. And I just really loved it and felt like I needed to return to cooking.
You of course know that Charlie Trotter started the same way at UW and was cooking in local places in Madison, just like you. But you and Christine, you graduated from Kendall, and then you opened Sunday Dinner Club. What is that?
What is Sunday Dinner Club? The worst promoted business in America. It was a secret for a very long time. Christine and I were friends in culinary school. Decided to start doing small dinner parties, essentially in our own homes at first. Featuring what was in season at the farmers market. So we always cooked 5-course meals. We continue that to this day. And we did it on Sunday, which was our day off from our restaurant jobs. And over time, people became interested. We sort of grew a mailing list through word of mouth. Eventually ran out of Sundays, started doing them on other days. Became legit, started working out of shared kitchens. And then fast forward 10 years, we took one of our favorite menus, and we do change our menu every month at Sunday Dinner Club. Everything from, Rick Bayless food, to Japanese food, to French food, to fried chicken. One of the dishes we kept coming back to was fried chicken. that we accidentally served with honey butter about 7 years ago.
More than just chicken.
Yeah, butter.
Butter and honey.
Honey, correct. The
You have
idea.
some cool sides too.
We have cool sides, yeah. So fried chicken, of course, honey butter. We have a lot of variations on the chicken. We do fried chicken sandwiches. We have fried chicken and grits. We have all kinds of ways you could eat fried chicken. We have it. We do love our sides. We try to be very creative with them. Feature a lot of market ingredients. And ideally you eat a beautiful kale slaw with your fried chicken, but you also can have some pimento mac and cheese or our creamed corn with our Thai curry on top. So
And one of the things you two have in common is Green City Market.
Oh,
You
yes.
both are involved in that, and so you shop there quite a bit too.
absolutely. I mean, our chefs are there every single market, buying ingredients for both honey butter and Sunday dinner club.
Okay, any bok choy in the mix for you?
In the restaurants, we've done bok choy a bunch of times at Sunday dinner club. Honey butter, not so much, but maybe after today we'll find a way to use it.
Cool. All right, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun one.
Cool. Mentioning in the intro, I really love to feature bok choy when I'm eating it at home. It's great in a stir fry, but to really eat it whole. So in this case, I'm leaving it pretty whole, and you get all those different textures. The leaves, you get the crunch from the stems, and then in this case, I'm grilling it, so hopefully we'll get a little bit of char on the bok choy.
Okay, in Rick's situation, he's got the black cod in a cast iron skillet. You've also got the bok choy and some jalapeno in the
So
skillet.
I quartered the bok choy so that I can get it to char nicely and be done in the 15-minute time. And then I've got some small pieces, about 2-ounce pieces of this black cod. Now, the same thing there. I've made it into smaller pieces because I want to be able to cook it in the right amount of time. I'm not worried that it's going to not get done in this 15 minutes at all. But then I cut a jalapeno in half and I put it cut side down into this cast iron pan. Now, I love to work with cast iron because I love the way it distributes and holds heat. So I've got a big 12-inch skillet here, and I've got everything in the skillet just cooking away. I'm about ready to flip the black cod. I want it to get really crusty on one side. I did salt and pepper it, and then I put a little bit of olive oil underneath it. But for the bok choy and for the jalapeno, I didn't put any oil under that. I want them to really just char.
We should point out salt, pepper, and oil and butter do not count as the extra 5. Josh, what are you doing now?
So I am starting my croutons. So in this case, I have a little butter in a cast iron pan, a clove of garlic. We can pull that clove of garlic and discard it, or if you're like me, you can just eat it. It's going to get nice and toasty. But I have big cubes of sourdough bread. Bread is in pizza, it turns out, even though I'm a fried chicken guy, are my real passions. And I always have a freezer full of my sourdough bread ends at home. And one of the things my wife and I love to do is just dice them up, toast them with a little butter, and put them on top of vegetables. It is a delicious way to pretend you're eating like chunks of bacon or something. This bread is from Floreal Bakery, which is one of my favorite bakeries.
I love Floreal.
Yeah,
One thing I want to tell our listeners, we're going to experiment with it. We are shooting some video of this, so we may, if the video turns out well, Alex, our intern, shooting it, we're going to put it up on our YouTube channel, so look for that as well. We'll have a link, of course, on thefeedpodcast.com. Rick is now whisking some eggs in a small skillet on the stove.
Well, it's really like a small saucepan. So I have 2 egg yolks here that I am whisking with just a little bit of water and salt. And I've got it over a medium-low heat here, and that's what I'm going to start making my hollandaise with. I'm going to do this on the stovetop, and I'm whisking these until the yolks become warm to the touch. And then I'm going to start putting pieces of cold butter in there and whisking those. It's kind of an easy way of making hollandaise, and to tell you the truth, it's the only method that I use at my house. I've got it over the fire, and I'm just now whisking in these cubes of cold butter. The cold butter helps to keep the temperature of the hollandaise at the right place so that it doesn't curdle. And so it cools it down all the time because I'm working over the red heat.
We're just over 5 minutes in, so about a third of the way, no, sorry. We've got, about a third of the way through, so about just under 10 minutes to go, guys. Josh has turned this adolescent bok choy over now in the grill pan.
Yeah, and it looks really nice. It's got some grill marks, the flavor of the grill marks, and just really adds some nice texture and flavor to the bok choy. And again, I really actually like to, and a lot of times when I'm cooking whole vegetables, have parts that are really cooked, parts that are a little bit cooked, and even maybe parts in the center that are a little less cooked. You get all those different textures going on. So to my bagnacotta, I had the garlic, the Fresno chili, a little olive oil. I added a big dollop of shiro miso, which is a mellower miso, a little bit sweeter, a lighter colored miso. And again, if you were making real bagnacotta, you would add anchovies. I have to give some props to Chef Jeremy Fox in California. He has a cookbook out recently that features the bagnacotta with miso, and that really inspired me. So I've been, ever since, just pouring miso bagnacotta on everything I can.
And the great thing about shiro miso or any miso is you can find it now in most grocery stores. You don't have to go to a specialty Asian store anymore.
Not at all. And we had Jeremy Fox on our show, and we interviewed him about that book. It's a great book.
I
Yeah.
love it.
And I got to eat there not too long after that.
Oh, did you really? Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah,
It's
he's a great
place in
cook.
Santa Monica. So you just continue to add a lot of cold butter to your sauce.
And it's almost finished now. A lot of people are kind of afraid of a hollandaise sauce, or they want to do it in a blender, which makes a much stiffer hollandaise sauce. So I like the one that's beaten with a whisk over the heat, but I do use cold butter when I'm whisking it in.
Okay, from across the room, I see Josh is zesting some lemon.
Yeah, Meyer lemons. So Meyer lemons, we like kind of, the way I think of them is a cross between almost like a mandarin orange and a lemon. They're a little sweeter than a lemon. The zest is wonderful, and you can honestly even eat the pith and everything on the Meyer lemon. If I had maybe more than 15 minutes, I might even chop up the lemon, put it all into the bagnacotta and let it cook down. In this case, I'm just putting some Meyer lemon zest, and then I'm going to cut the lemon in half and put some juice into the bagnacotta as well.
I see Rick has just turned over some of the charred bok choy.
Bok choy, so I got a nice dark char on one side, and now I've flipped it onto a second side, and I'm going to let it finish there. The black cod I'm flipping as well. It's really beautifully browned. I'm going to leave it for 30 seconds like this, and then I'm going to take it out because it's done. And my pieces, 2 halves of the jalapeno are getting charred too in a nice way, but I'm going to flip them over and let them cook a little bit on the other side.
Okay, we got about 7 minutes to go. We're just over halfway. 7 minutes to go. You're feeling okay over there, Josh?
I feel pretty good. I'm just whisking my cubed butter into my bagnacotta, kind of reducing my heat down. You don't want to heat it up too hot. It's not going to fully emulsify into a perfectly beautiful hollandaise like Rick has down there, but you want it to sort of stay together. And you get, with the Meyer lemon and the miso, this great sweetness with that garlic and butter, and I love it on this bok choy.
I can just hear in your voice you love to create stuff and sort of mess around, and I'm guessing that's the Sunday Dinner Club outlet for you because you can only make so many fried chicken sandwiches.
No, you're 100% correct. Sunday Dinner Club is our outlet to experiment and really get creative. But, I find a lot of chefs cook better with some limits, and our limits are always what we can get from our great producers in the region and great artisans in the region. So the good news is that you can pretty much make pizza year-round, and I love pizza, love pasta, and we can always do our fried chicken dishes.
What's your hydration that you like in your dough?
You know what, Steve, I knew you were going to ask me that question. Steve and I have bonded over pizza. I vary it a lot. So I make grandma-style pizzas, and on those I'm up to even 75, 80% hydration. And then more New York style in my own home oven, high heat, maybe 60%, 65%.
Got to come back to the show here. Rick is grating some lime zest.
I'm grating lime zest into this finished hollandaise, and I just squeezed a little fresh lime juice in there as well. I'm going to add some pepper and then season with salt.
And you just let those jalapenos and bok choy hang out in that skillet.
I am. I still have it over the heat, but I've taken the black cod out now.
5 minutes to go. We're 2/3 of the way through. 5 minutes to go. Josh just squeezed some
A little bit more Meyer lemon. Just needs a little bit more of acid in the bagnacotta. My bok choy feels good. It's nice and seared. The croutons that are on the cast iron pan with the garlic and butter are getting really toasty. I like them to be crunchy, but when you bite into them, maybe a little butter still has room to squeeze out.
Now, I'm guessing you're probably not sponsored by a miso brand. Do you care to do the call out of the brand? Does it make a difference here? I'm looking on your cutting board.
I try to
You
buy.
don't have to mention it if you don't like it.
No, I love this brand. It is at Whole Foods, West Spray Natural. when I'm buying anything, I'm looking for the least amount of additional ingredients. And even things sometimes like miso, you think fermented soybeans, what else could be in there? But if you really look closely, there's a lot of times preservatives or various add-ons. Buying stuff at Whole Foods or organic sources is really nice.
Okay, Rick is he's taking the jalapeno out of the pan.
Yeah, so it's cooked now, but it's also charred on both sides, one side more than the other. But I'm gonna make a nice, really fine mince out of it and add as much of it as I want to this hollandaise sauce or sprinkle it over the top. You could do either one of those things.
Just under 4 minutes to go, so we're getting down to the wire here a little bit. Josh is removing the grilled bok choy from the grill pan onto a plate. Rick continues to mince the jalapenos. He's pulling the bok choy out on the cutting board. Hollandaise is kind of hanging out. Now you're adding the jalapenos.
Yeah.
You're eyeballing it, obviously.
Yeah, I just want to actually stir it in and to taste it because I don't want it to be too hot, but I want it to have nice little zing, that jalapeno zing to it. So this isn't a very hot jalapeno, so I'm going to put a little bit more of it in.
Josh and I can take it, right?
Yeah.
We're handling it.
We can handle the heat, yeah. And Rick, that sear on that bok choy is beautiful. I'm a
thank you.
little insecure about my sear.
Insecurity. No, it's okay. It looks good, Josh. Here's
Thank you.
You got good
Thank you.
grill marks, actually. You actually have grill marks. Rick
Yeah.
just has a full-on char.
He does, but it looks great. It's a testament to Rick's talent that he can get that much flavor out of
Stop
bok choy.
sucking up already. Enough. Gosh.
You gotta
Okay.
do what you gotta do.
All right, what do you got here?
All right, so I have if I played a minute or two early, is that okay?
Yeah.
That's
no,
fine.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
All right, great.
I'm ready too.
So I have the bok choy on the plate, pretty side up, so you decide which side is the pretty side. And then I'm gonna spoon over my bok choy with my spoon.
And wait, while you're doing that, Rick is plating too. So you put 3 little pieces of glass cod into this onto the plate, and then you're just kind of alternating with some of the charred bok choy. It looks like.
All right, so I've got my bok choy.
1 second, Josh.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm just messing.
You're just messing. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Josh.
Really have anything to say.
So I've got my bok choy pretty side up. I've got my bagna with the Fresno chilies, the garlic, the miso, Meyer lemon zest and juice, and then lots of butter. Butter's the free ingredient, so I'm taking advantage of that. If you really wanted this totally smooth, you could stick a stick blender in there, but I kind of like it a little more rustic. So I'm just gonna spoon this buttery miso bagna over the bok choy. I want it to kind of get in all the nooks and crannies. This is fantastic on anything. Fish, I love it on roasted broccoli and cauliflower. It goes anywhere you want deliciousness.
Now, if this were a 6-ingredient challenge, sometimes we ask people, if you get one more, would it be the anchovy?
You know, if I'm doing the miso, I'm probably going to skip the anchovy. The miso gives me that umami, that saltiness, and that sort of depth of flavor.
Okay.
Yeah, if I had one more ingredient, it'd probably be, maybe a beautiful piece of black cod.
Okay. Just under a minute to go here. Rick is now just
Okay.
ladling on his semi-spicy hollandaise.
It actually is spicy now because you said you could take the heat,
All
so
right.
I actually made it spicy.
All
I
right.
put the whole jalapeno in there, and I like the way that the butter tames it, and then the lime juice that I put in here is really going to perk up this richness of the butter that's in the hollandaise sauce.
Great. And Josh, you're plating too. You're finishing off. You have the breadcrumbs or the croutons, excuse me.
Correct. So my croutons, and you could use breadcrumbs if you like them to be a little smaller. I love bigger croutons, especially when they're fried in butter. Big croutons on top, you just get great textural contrast with the bok choy.
And time's up. Is it, Matt?
20 seconds.
20 seconds. Okay, good enough. We'll take it there. So just under 15 minutes.
Okay.
Congratulations, guys.
Great. Thank
Okay,
you.
we are
Right
going to
over
take
here.
pictures, of course. All of this ends
Yeah.
up on our Instagram at the Feed Podcast. Also on our website, thefeedpodcast.com. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to taste what Rick and Josh have made for us. And then we're going to also preview some scenes from next week's show, so stay with us.